Hi.
Hi, Sam, how are you?
Hi, fine, thank you. Welcome.
Hey, jua imewaka. Nitazoea guys siku gani hii kazi ya mjengo?
Site ni jua kali.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen guys are building massive homes in this area.
I tell you.
This be one of them.
I tell you.
It's a thing ama nini?
Let me tell you, a house now is not just for survival. It is a way of making a statement. You only live once.
YOLO.
Yes, and nyumba ni one tap.
Okay.
Yes.
Sasa nikaribisha watu wangu.
Okay.
Welcome back to the show. Now, first of all, I'm in shock because people are building beautiful, massive houses. But I don't understand, in this construction, what is the role of a structural engineer? What role do they play? Why do we need them? And why is it that the profession is very vital kwa mjengo? Sam, you're a structural engineer.
Yes.
Why an engineer? What made you get into this?
There's someone who I value from my village who inspired me to do the engineering course. And actually, I began to realize some of the subjects that I used to love in my high school days were related to this. At times, I find myself using examples of construction that are easily relatable to the people on the ground.
And how long have you done this for?
I've been in the construction industry for over 10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
How many projects roughly umefanya?
Over 100.
Over 100?
Yes.
Ngumu?
Let me say that it is hard and it's also not hard. It is hard when you are dealing with a hard client. But when you are dealing with a client who is open to guidance, he puts you in a safe place.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's get to the job. What is the job or the role of a structural engineer when it comes to construction?
The role of a structural engineer, I would say, is to ensure that the house is stable or is structurally sound. I will give you an example with our human makeup. The engineer, assuming he was handling the body of a person, assuming the building is the body of a person, the engineer handles the design of the skeleton and the muscles that ensure that you remain standing. That is what the engineer is involved. But that is not what you usually see when you see someone walking on the road.
So now we know architect atakuja atuchore. At what point then do you come into this plan of me owning a home? At what point do I engage you?
When you are building your own home, you are the first primary designer of your house because you have that concept in your head. So that concept is translated into a plan on a paper by an architect. Now the engineer begins to interpret that and sees how constructible that can be on the ground. Because on paper it is unlikely to fall, but on the ground it's likely to fall. So it's the engineer who interprets that plan and now inputs aspects that will ensure that the building is able to stand. Yes.
And what other professionals do you have to work with? Because I know everybody has their own role.
Yes.
And to save money, you know what we do. Tutafuta mtu atuchoree nyumba, niko na fundi aniweke chuma, niko na. So then there are a lot of professionals that will skip because we think we're saving a cost, and not necessarily because the time people do not use use a professional.
Yeah.
What other professionals do you need to work with from the start to the end of a project?
We first need an architect who does the plans and also is involved in the supervision of the work, because the house has to come out as it was envisioned. All right, and it's the architect who also assists on that. The engineer not only supervises, but is also involved in coming up with his own set of plans or drawings that ensure the stability of the house. But aside from the architect and the engineer, we also have a quantity surveyor. A quantity surveyor is the finance person of the construction and also helps in coordinating or overseeing the contract that is between the developer or the owner of the house and the contractor. So the QS, or we normally call him the QS or the quantity surveyor, is involved with the math, the coming up with the costs, the bill of quantities of that house. Now, those are the three primary consultants that we need in a house. But there are also other consultants that we need. We also need service engineers and also service contractors besides the main contractor. Actually, a main contractor will be mentioned as a primary service provider. We also have interior designers, as you mentioned. We also have other specialized fundis, that is the plumbing, electrical works, and also other specialized fundis like those who do tiles, carpenters, those who do masonry work, so on and so forth. So there's a huge team that is involved. What is the risk if you omit one and assume that the other one does? The risk is that if you omit one, say you omit an engineer so that you just work with the architect, is that The architect, in as much as he can give guidance, one, he doesn't bear responsibility for engineering works. Number two, there are some aspects that he might easily oversee because his mind is quite involved on architectural concept. If you use the engineer and omit the architect, the same thing will happen.
Yeah.
I would say that you need to have the services of all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now all of them hao ni watu wengi, ukiangalia from the beginning to the end and plus ongeza wale wa service, these are very many professionals to use.
Yes.
Is it that costly to use professionals, or is it a gain in the long term?
It depends with what you are looking for in terms of a house. If you are looking to do just a simple house, I'm talking about just a basic structure, you may miss a consultant as long as you feel that this consultant's input in this is not so critical. But I would suggest, very important, because again, how these professionals charge you is also pegged on the cost of the house. They are aware that if the way I'll charge you to do a 15 million worth of a house is not the same way I'll charge you to do a 3 million cost of a house. So take to account that if that house of yours is something of value, try to engage as many as professionals as possible. Yes.
Is there cohesion when you look at the engineer, kuangalie tuseme kama ni architect, kuangalie QS, is there cohesion to ensure these three are speaking the same language when it comes to my project?
Yes, we usually have coordination. Normally when we are starting construction or even at the planning stage, there is usually meetings to do that help to bring coordination. And again, the three needs to work together. Say for example, the QS, when the QS is coming up with the costing of the house, he has to take to account the details that have been provided by the architect and the details that have been provided by the engineer. The engineer has to ensure that his work matches with what the architect has done. And the architect needs to be aware this is what the engineer is doing. So the three, together now with the main contractor, they need to work.
There has to be synergy.
Yes, definitely.
The same vision.
Yes, otherwise if there is a division, then it becomes very difficult. They actually end up sabotaging the project.
Okay.
Yes.
At the beginning umesema kazi yako ni ngumu if the client anakusumbua. You see, if I'm building a house, it's a dream I've had over years. I have saved for it, I have bought a piece of land for it, so I almost envision how I want my house. But what are some of these mistakes that we make? With that desire to have a beautiful home, what are some of the mistakes we make as we are aspiring to be homeowners when it comes to construction? Among
the many mistakes that I've seen over the years people making, I would start talking about planning. That as the major problem. Planning here means being able to foresee how your house is going to cost you, or this is what that I'm likely to spend, or this is what I'm likely to get at the end of the construction. So you find many people just want that house that I saw from the internet. In fact, some people they're just impressed with the outer facade of the house, but that is just the form. You don't know whether it actually fits your needs, suits your need. It might be having a small kitchen, yet you needed a big kitchen. Or it had so many rooms or very few rooms as compared to what you had. So you begin to build because you're just impressed on the outside. Then when you start building, you realize that actually there are things I need to change here and there.
Adjustments,
yeah. So those adjustments now make your cost to go high. They begin to compromise the integrity of the structure.
Unajua Sam, kuna fundi aliniambia, watu unakuja uko na joto ya kujenga nyumba.
Yes.
You really have energy and you are excited about building a house.
Yes.
Mahali wanakulia watu pesa ni kwa foundation. Because of that excitement you come with, this is where they take advantage. By the time ugundue hii kitu ni expensive,
yes,
then they have made their money now kuinua nyumba.
Let me shock you further using statistics. Now, we usually estimate, say for example, this kind of a house. Up to this stage, it has gone. You have only gone around 45% of the cost. You might think that you are almost done, but you are only at 45%. So let's say 50%. Okay. So you could be thinking that at this stage, I'm at 80%.
Yeah.
But shock on you, you have only gone 50% of the journey. So the cost that is awaiting you is again almost similar like the one that you have spent.
Now uko within budget ile ulikuwa umepatia client wako?
Yeah, we are within the budget.
Within the budget,
yes. Oh, for this one, yes. For this one, yes.
Okay.
Because now we had a BQ done.
Okay.
Yes.
I know a lot of people need top professionals. At times they don't even know where to find them. That's why I bring you guys on my show. Someone needs a structural engineer somewhere. Where can they find you and your services?
So to find me, you can contact me via the number 0101 892 340.
Okay.
0101 892 340. And our website is smartbuildsolutions.co.ke.
Super.
Yes.
Thank you so much for giving me your time.
Thank you.
Sinifanya ka break alafu tutembea nione mjengo. This house is massive and mimi napenda kuchungulia.
Yes. Yeah, no.
Well, there you have it. Sam is telling us that you must plan before you start your construction. Usikuwe na haraka, take your time, plan, use the right professionals, then you will thank him later. Let me take a short break. I'll be right back.